Ladies, do you want to look more shaped, toned, and just more fit? Well, what muscles should you focus on when you actually work out? I'm going to do a top tier list of movements and exercises and body parts that you should be focusing on in order to look more fit. So we're going to go from lowest tier, least important, to the top tier or the most important. Now, despite what you may think here, I am not an artist. I mean, this is, I know, probably $1 million painting right here, but this is a woman. Let's just go with that, okay? So we're going to go through body part by body part. What is the most important that you need to focus on in order to change and make yourself look more fit? So with the least important movements and body parts that you should be focusing on for women, in order for someone to look at you and say, wow, that person's in shape. What's the least body part that we have to focus on? That one is the chest. Chest muscles for a woman are really not that important. I'm talking about like development-wise. I'm not talking about like, you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like development-wise. Like they don't have to really be as developed as like a guy's pectorals has to be. You know, a guy has like, they would call it like an armored plate. That's what it looks like for guys. For a female, it's not really so important. And when I say it's not so important, it's not that it's not important. It's just that it's not as important as the other things. So chest. So any type of like blanket, lower pec type movement. So dips, a waste of time for women to do, like a decline bench. And we're going to go with like a chest fly. Now, it's not that women shouldn't do these movements, but again, when you first look at somebody, the first thing that you look at is not really the development of their chest. It's not, especially the lower half portion of it. So, moving down the list now, we have biceps. For women, a good pair of arms are really, really important, but biceps, or the front of the arm, isn't really as important to have developed like a guy should. So for a female, they shouldn't really have too much development when it comes to biceps. So again, and I'm not saying you shouldn't be doing any of these movements. You should still be doing them. But as far as like what to prioritize, these are the ones you should be doing. So we got biceps. And again, any type of curling movement is not really a priority for you. Okay? So now let's start moving down our list. What's next on our list? And we're getting to like the top tier and the most important here. So the next one on this list, we're going to put the abs. Abs are important. It's your midline of the body. It's kind of like the first thing that people see, but it's not priority to train. Why is it not priority to train if it's the first thing that people see? Well, the reason why abs are not the first thing that you should be focusing on in the gym, abs don't come from work in the gym. Abs come from your diet and your nutrition. 70, 80, 90% of your results are going to come from what you eat. So if you want to change that midline of your body, it's going to boil down to your diet. So you don't have to spend a lot of time doing abs. And again, when you do abs, you're supposed to be doing simple movements. Anything that brings your hips up to your chest or your chest down to your hips. So crunches, leg lifts, those types of movements are really good for developing the core, but ultimately diet. So we'll just put diet here, okay? So we don't get confused. Now, moving toward the bigger areas, the areas that you need to have more developed. First things first, we'll start from the top and go down. We got shoulders, all right? Shoulders are very, very important for a woman because it's one of the first things that you see when you wear a dress. That upper clavicle shoulder area portion is very, very important to develop for women. So you're going to be focusing on overhead pressing type movements. So dumbbell overhead press, seated, barbell overhead press. Those movements are going to develop all those muscles that people see when they see you in a tank top or a dress or a bathing suit. That's the first thing that catches their eye. Now, in part of this shoulders or upper pecs, we would call it, there are some chest movements that you want to do because, again, we want to focus on the upper portion of the chest. So incline press is also very important for women as well because, again, it focuses on the areas that people can see. The lower portion, like I said, the dips, the decline bench, that chest flies, that really works more the lower and the middle. We don't really need that as much. We're focusing more so on the areas that can be seen. So we got the shoulders. Now, next of importance, we have the legs. And we're going to break the legs down as far as like importance of area. So legs. So first things first, with legs, we have the front of the leg, the thighs, we have the back of the leg, the hamstrings, and we have the glutes. So those are the most important areas to work. And the cool thing is that the exercises that you're going to be doing here work all those areas at once. So you got squats. I love RDLs. I think RDLs, Romanian deadlifts, are one of the best exercises you can do. And we have hip thrusts. Those movements, those 3 movements alone are enough to give your legs the definition and shape that they're supposed to have, that you be like, people look at your legs and say, wow, she's really in shape. If you just focused on just those 3 movements, you will see a big, big difference. Now, I want to flip back up here to the lower tier and the least important. I also want to add in here, we could just put it with biceps, calves. I don't think for a woman doing any calf raise or anything like that is of importance. Plus, whenever you do squats, RDLs, hip thrusts, your calf has to stabilize and it actually is being worked, but there's no need for any direct calf work. And again, we could even throw forearms in here as well. Not an important movement for women. And also, I'll add it in here, traps. So those areas are not necessary. Any type of shrug or anything like that, not as important for a woman to look fit. Now, so we have the shoulders, we have the legs, and the last one, but not least, and we got triceps. We got one more, actually. We got triceps. Triceps are very, very important for a woman's development because triceps make up most of the arm. The triceps are 2/3 of the arm and your arm development. So the more defined your triceps are, the better your arms are going to look. Most guys look at their biceps. They flex their bicep. So that's one there. With women, majority of the time, they're more concerned with the back of their arms. So we got to focus on triceps. So here we're talking about like skull crushers, French press, which is good, kickbacks, which are one of my favorites. So those types of tricep movements are going to go a long, long way. And I would say the most important, number 1 on my list for women, is going to be back development. Nothing says a woman is in real shape when she's in a tank top and she turns around and you can see how defined her back is. So what does a woman need to focus on? I believe that women need to focus on doing pull-ups. Pull-ups for women is one of the hardest movements that women can do. It takes a lot of muscle to do them, and you're going to have a nice developed back by focusing on doing pull-ups. And if you can't do pull-ups, then you have your pull downs, you have your rows, your bent over rows, and those types of movements. But you need to be focusing on the back. So I got number 1 is going to be your back development. Remember, and I'm saying that legs are included, everything there. So when you turn around to the back, obviously your legs, but we covered that before. So what areas of your body you should focus on, ladies? In order. We got our back, we have our triceps, we have our legs, we have our shoulders. The most important movements that you should be doing as regularly as you can, and then follow up with this other stuff just to throw it in there. It's always good to have a nice balanced physique, but to make you look more fit, you got to focus on this bottom tier. And ladies, if you want help with any of this, I have a glute program that I put together. You can click the link below and pick that up today. Until next time, this was Anthony, AB Fitness Center. Catch you on the next one. Our overcrowded personal training gym is in need of trainers. We are drowning in new clients that want and need instruction, and we need you. Certification is a plus, but not necessary. We are growing fast, and there are many opportunities for growth inside our company. So send me a message now if you are interested in working with the best.